And we're back. Guess what we got for you, ladies and gentlemen, today? We got the Scout's Eye with my man Voch Lombardi here. Voch, I know you got some good plays to break down for us this week from that Giants victory.
100%, Mr. Wolf. One thing just real fast, okay? When you talk to Crown Global listens. Yo, Zach, real fast, put the film right up there and then put it back on us. You guys said, hey, man, for the OGs in the back, Voch, we can't see. Can you zoom in on the film? So we'll be using dynamic film for y'all. Sometimes it'll be me and Brian reacting. Other times the film will be right on the screen for the OGs with the bad eyes. All right, let's get into it, Bryan Broaddus. I'm going to run this play. I'm going to come back and talk about it. The Cowboys did a lot of fantastic things on offense, and I'm going to mostly highlight offense today, man. Defense bothered the hell out of us, Bryan Broaddus. But if it's anything Shoddy promised to us, he promised that we're going to run the ball. And run the ball to set up action, okay? Also, we're going to use a bunch of motion, so that's going to be basically what we're doing today. That's going to be the theme of today, okay? So we got a little bit of motion right there. Now, we don't just motion for no reason. For some reason, Mike McCarthy thought that you motion for just no reason, but when you motion, you move people out the way, Bryan Broaddus. Now, what we know...
Create space there, right?
Creating space. What we know is that retroactively, George Pickens is running to the sideline, to the pylon there, Bryan Broaddus. So what we want to do is anything that looks like a slant, those first Pickens catches, they were all slants. So what we're going to do is we're going to do everything in our power to make this look like a slant. Brian, if George Pickens was running the slant, you would want to move this linebacker.
Absolutely,
right here, Brian,
would, yeah.
So from the top of the operation to the bottom, what we're going to do is run our motion. We're going to move our linebacker. And if you look at Pickens right up top here, look at his route. He doesn't just run directly to the flats, Bryan Broaddus. He's going to set you up with a step and then hard step to the outside, to the front pylon there, Bryan Broaddus. And then Dak Prescott put a beauty of a throw on that, Brian. Let me just show y'all cartel view real fast because we got to show the cartel view. I want to first show y'all how accurate Dak was here. I want to come back and show you the highlight of how this all worked. Motion, and look, you can even get a better view of it right here, Bryan Broaddus. I want you to take a look at these guys right there. Look at them reacting to the motion. So you do this one time, Shoddy knows that's in his book. Everybody's going to shift over. Boom, boom, boom. Dak's going to see it, and look at this dime piece right there, Bryan Broaddus.
I'll tell you what, Adebo, he had no really shot on that one right there. That is as tight window of a throw that you're going to make. What a confident, strong throw by Prescott there. What a great job. And you mentioned about the route and how Pickens was able to sell that. He went and just kind of froze Adebo right there and then broke it to the outside. You're going to see it right here. Watch him kind of like he has no idea if he's going to go inside or outside on that break. Watch him. Kind of stays balanced, and now he breaks it to the outside. What a throw and what a catch.
Also, too, Brian, one more thing that I think is very important here. You got to show the big boys credit. Now, your offensive line been getting smoked all day.
It's been a problem,
But we talked about wearing these guys down. This happened at the end of the fourth quarter, right? So what's going to happen with your offensive line versus their defensive line? You got 1, 1, 1, 1. That's 5 versus our 5, Bryan Broaddus. All across the board, the blocks were flawless. You had issues earlier, but everybody gave Dak Prescott just enough time that he needed, Broaddus, for that tight window throw to George Pickens and that daggone touchdown we've been waiting on.
Boy, that's 5-on-5, and that is some outstanding blocking, especially down there in that tight goal line area.
100%, Mr. Wolf. Let's run this one. Bryan Broaddus, this was another Pickens play. And, hey, man, we might highlight this video and call it how Pickens helped finish the game, seal the deal, whatever. This is dependent on Dak Prescott and his eyes and him being able to make a read downfield. So what you had here, Bryan Broaddus, too far. What you had here is you got a real deep cross and follow right there. That's Ferguson right there. A real deep cross and follow right here. One thing that we noticed, Brian, is you're going to see Ferg in motion. So what that does, let me just give you this highlight right here. This cornerback is lined up on the numbers right here.
Yes, he is.
We could eventually go that way. I'm going to show you something later. But with the motion, the corner starts on the numbers. He's going to walk all the way down in there, Bryan Broaddus. So now we're just creating space, creating room just in case. Let me show you what ended up happening, Brian. What ended up happening is Dak is going to read this safety right here. So now it's technically 3-on-2. I'll show you. 1, 2, bam. It's technically 1, 2 and 3 giants versus 2 receivers, but we're moving with this assumption that man coverage is going to beat both of those corners, Brian. So we're really only reading this safety. Now, what does the safety do, Brian? The safety runs with CeeDee Lamb. Okay?
Absolutely.
The safety's going to bail and run with Lamb. What does that leave wide open? George Pickens crossing the field, because we have faith that George Pickens can beat his man coverage across the field. But Brian, we like to go back and, look for details and things like that. You always say, Voch, look for details. What would have happened, Brian, if your safety here, what if he would have bit down on Pickens here?
That ball's going over the top.
You would have gotten CeeDee Lamb wide open.
Right.
So that's the read right there. It's 2 receivers, 2 corners, I know, but we are reading that safety. If the safety comes down, we throw over the top of them. The touchdown is what we want.
Right.
But boy, shouts out to the safety being smart. You bailed him out right there. You take away CeeDee Lamb, but still George Pickens is wide open to catch the deep ball to the sideline right there. Brian, did you have anything on?
Yeah, if we could run it back. Let's stop it right there if you would.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The situation though with your running back, with the you've got a blitzing linebacker here though, and so are you worried about here? Just had a free runner on Dak.
So you had
that's a great job by Dak, kind of knowing that maybe they had a mix up, a problem with the protection with the back. Free runner on Dak. Great job by him standing in there and making this throw. As you've shown us, it's such a deep route.
Yeah.
He has to hold that ball and let that thing clear.
And, Brian, I think this is something that Dak really picked up later in the game, is that, hey, man, pressure is coming.
Right.
I'm going to get hit. So it's basically this linebacker versus Dak right now.
Right.
And Dak is saying, hey, the hit is coming. The
Right.
hit is coming. But I got to get this ball out because we need deep ball right now. Boom, boom. And Dak just stands in the pocket very last second to get that ball out and the accurate throw to George Pickens there, Bryan Broaddus.
I'll tell you what, though, great route combination. Great job by Dak hanging in there and making that play.
100%, Mr. Wolf. Now, Bryan Broaddus, last week we talked about counter and the different ways that Cowboys run counter. This time we're going to talk about power a little bit, right, Brian? This time we're going to talk about, and Brian been getting on to me about the shapes that I've been drawing, but it is what it is. Zach, can you zoom in on this? This is what we're going to do, Bryan Broaddus. The typical rules of power is if we're running to the right, the play side is going to be blocking down.
There you go.
I'm going to get those lines out the way, though. But the key to it is the backside guard is pulling to wrap to a linebacker.
Okay.
Now, last week, Brian, we talked about counter. You pull and kick to an end.
Right.
This time, you're pulling and wrapping to a linebacker.
Right.
And some other times, what happens, Brian, is you may get a fullback right here.
Right.
To lead block behind that. Let me show you what the Cowboys did, Brian. The Cowboys said, all right, I'm going to still pull with Tyler Smith and wrap to the linebacker, but this time you have – that's number 1 right there because I write terribly.
Yep.
That's Jalen Tolbert in motion.
Yep.
So he's going to be the second wrap guy that would be the fullback there. Brian, let me just show you one time, and then we're going to come back and break this whole thing down. You got Tyler Smith at left guard. He's going to pull. But you see the motion coming right behind him. Yeah. Bam, bam, bam. Javonte Williams saves us right here. Go ahead, Brian.
Did you like the timing of that? Boy, that seemed like that the puller was right on top. Did you need a little separation there? Am I being a little nitpicky there?
So, Brian, I'm glad that you said this. This might be why some players need to be more consistent.
Right.
For Schottenheimer, right?
Right.
This isn't just lining up and running the football.
Right.
This is, all right, everything has got to be on point. Just imagine if it was loud, like last week, right?
Sure.
So Book has to go boom, the motion has to be right on time, and then you're pulling and hitting somebody, Brian. So just right here, real fast, we're going to see, bam, the snap, the motion, and the pull from Tyler. It has to match up. Tyler's going to pull, and then Tolbert is going to be like a pulling lead blocker right behind him. Now, Brian, I ain't going to lie to you. Tyler Smith did a fantastic job of logging his guy
inside. That guy inside,
Sealed perfectly. Unfortunately, Tolbert ain't do a whole lot of good against Deonte Banks right here.
Yeah.
But it's okay because, Brian, you got this battering ram in Javonte Williams, and sometimes you just got to make guys miss. As a running back, your job is to make 1 or 2 guys miss, and I think that's what you get when you get a talented running back. I was making fun of, Williams as like, oh, the old man running back.
Sure, I was too.
I was thinking about Zeke in my mind. Zeke ain't making nobody miss.
No.
Javonte Williams will run through somebody, run around somebody, so shouts out to him. Did you have anything on this, Brian?
No, it's interesting. My guy Noob in the safety, he's usually a pretty good tackler in space right there. Williams with some power. Boy, I like to go back real quick if you could, Voch.
Yes,
Look
sir.
at the double team on the front side there. Look at that double team block that they get on Alexander, number 91, to
Boom,
kind of get him. Yeah, and then all of a sudden you get the wrap, you get the kick, and now you got the backup through the hole.
That was real key, Brian. This right here, and then Smith.
We haven't seen that a lot with the Dallas Cowboys.
It never happens.
It never happens.
It never happens. So now what you really have is this lane right there.
Right.
You just need Tober to be great right there. But hey, man, you know, we'll work on it. Maybe Tober get better.
Yeah.
Maybe Flournoy gets in there, does a little something. I got one more for you, Bryan.
Well, that's a good play, though, man. That's a good ball play.
Let's just run this play, and then we'll come back and talk about it, Bryan Broaddus. Same elements that we mentioned earlier. This was your Lamb play, right?
This is my Lamb play. Let me tell you this real quick, though, Voch, as you run this thing back. I felt like that Dallas's offense was really kind of stagnant until that point. I felt like that they really were struggling with some of the things that they were doing. I felt like that Shoddy was kind of a little bit out of balance calling some plays and stuff like that. So, yeah, when they ran this particular play, I kind of felt like they kind of got back into a little bit better rhythm with their play calls and their execution.
Brian, one thing I noticed throughout the game, and if we had an hour to break it down, I'll show you these plays. But what they'll do, Brian, is the Giants will drop Bobby Okereke backwards to just kind of follow Lamb or whatever, right? And I don't know if Shoddy saw that, but this is what play action does. What we know with prior knowledge, looking back on it, Brian, we know that CeeDee Lamb is coming here.
Yes.
If Bobby Okereke is following CeeDee Lamb, then he has enough leverage to catch him right there.
He does.
But, Brian, we got a Schottenheimer now.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen? Play action, and that's going to make Bobby Okereke
hold the linebacker,
work inside.
There you go.
So now Okereke loses about 3 steps. And if you take a look at it, boom, 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 ball in the air. Now, Brian, if Bobby Okereke had 3 more steps,
he's on top of that.
He may have been able to make this play.
Right.
But because of not only earning play action by running the football properly, play action working and is moving Bobby Okereke. He makes a big commit, bam, to the runner. Right. And now CeeDee Lamb, being more athletic, can just run right past him.
Well, good job, too, by George Pickens on the opposite side of clearing out things to kind of give that space. Pickens' route, again, he's running on a Debo, and then he's getting him clear, and now look what's coming behind that. You mentioned the route of him getting the clear and then the route, the over, but really good point about that linebacker because of stepping up. Boy, that took him out of position of having to cover that route coming across the field.
It is a game of inches, Mr. Broaddus. Shouts out to Schottenheimer for understanding that and believing in motion and play action.
Yeah, I tell you what. Well, that's some outstanding film work, Voch. Thank you so much for putting that out for us today. So, we'll be back with some more film breakdowns. The Scouts Eye. Love when my man Voch Lombardi talks about this and we get a chance to chop it up with you. Make sure you kind of follow along with us on all our social platforms, the things that we do on YouTube, the things we now do on Spotify. We're going to have more of this stuff for you on a weekly basis. For my man Voch Lombardi, I'm Bryan Broaddus. Thanks for joining us on the Scouts Eye.